Support for WKGC Public Media comes from listeners like you, people who believe in the power of local radio to inform, inspire, and connect the Emerald Coast community. Your gift helps keep educational and entertaining programs on the air while creating hands-on learning opportunities for students. Become a listener supporter today and give securely at WKGC.org. WKGC, education, entertainment, and everything in between. From WKGC Public Media, this is Real Talk. I'm your host, R.L. Terry, and if Christmas movies are your thing, you're in the right place. And if you're looking for which Christmas movies to watch this month, hop in our sleigh for our picks for the Christmas movies you should make part of your season. Today we're kicking off a special two-part countdown of our picks for the top 20 Christmas movies. Now, this isn't just a list of the usual suspects. Yes, the timeless classics are undoubtedly here. Those are the films wrapped in tinsel, nostalgia, and enough sentiment to warm even Scrooge's heart. But we're also celebrating the non-traditional favorites, the offbeat, the genre benders, the movies that may not be wrapped in red and green, but if you took Christmas out, the movie would cease to deliver the same experience, or at the very least lose its magic. Whether the result is heartwarming, hilarious, haunting, or explosively non-traditional, it belongs here today. Beyond the more traditional expressions of Christmas and Christmas movies, Christmas is also about human connection, second chances, generosity, redemption, chaos, catharsis, and sometimes, just sometimes, running barefoot across broken glass in a skyscraper. And I cannot undertake such a task alone. Joining me today for this merry countdown is a voice that is familiar to you, Brad from the Cinema Speak podcast. You'll remember him and his co-host Trevor as my sub-hosts on this show several times throughout this year. But this is the first time that he and I are sitting down together on my show, because I'm usually on his. Welcome back to Real Talk, Brad.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for having me, and it's exciting to be here. You know, I've obviously guested, filled in on here with Trevor, kind of doing my own shtick, but it's great being on here as an official guest of Real Talk, so thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting my invitation for this two-parter to close out the year. For those of you who have missed the episodes for which Brad is subbed for me, he is the host of the Cinema Speak podcast, and I've been a listener of it since 2018, I think it is. And so you can find Cinema Speak podcast anywhere you get your pods, your favorite podcatcher, and he's recently married his longtime girlfriend, Lizzie, so I'd be remiss not to offer Real Talk's congratulations on his happy nuptials.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It was a little over 2 months ago now, and it seems like it just happened yesterday. So it's gone by very quick, but, everything's been going great. Great wedding and happy marriage.
And talk about a absolutely fantastic way to close out the year on a high note. Well, without any further ado, let's get into it. So today, listeners, we are starting our countdown of the top 20. So this week, we are counting down numbers 20 to 11. That's 10 films that set the stage and stoke the fire for next week's top 10 showdown. Some of these choices may surprise you. A few may challenge your opinion of what defines a Christmas movie, and others will feel like revisiting old friends. But all of them earn their place on our list because they embody what Christmas storytelling at its best is all about. So pour yourself some cocoa or something stronger, settle in, and let's begin our journey through the movies that make this season unforgettable. Since you're my guest today, Brad, you get to ignite our countdown. So what do you have for number 20?
My number 20 best Christmas movie of all time is Scrooge, directed by Richard Donner, starring the great Bill Murray. I believe this is, I could be mistaken, but I believe this is my only representation of a Christmas Carol on my list. I'm assuming maybe it'll come up on your list as well. There's lots of different versions to choose from.
Yes.
But I would say this is probably my version. I do just like Bill Murray and the comedy of it. And I do think the end is pretty incredible when he sort of goes on television at the end, and
Mhm.
the catharsis of him becoming a good guy really works for me. So this is a fun one, not a go to every sort of year kind of classic.
Mhm.
But I do really like Scrooged.
Yeah, it's not among my favorite adaptations. However, I know that it shows up so often on so many lists. Uh, and it is, I've only seen it a couple of times, but he really does make that movie.
Hmm.
If it was any other actor with that script, with that director, if it was any other actor in that role, I don't think it would work as well.
Yeah, I agree. If you like Bill Murray as a screen comedian, you'll most likely like Scrooge because, like you said, he is kind of what makes and breaks the movie. Great cast overall. I mean, there's Carol
Yeah.
Kane in there, Bobcat
Yeah.
Goldthwait, a lot of good supporting players. But yeah, it really hinges on Bill Murray.
It really does. Well, I'm gonna go a little darker for my number 20, and I would not be surprised if this makes your list, perhaps even, a little bit higher than mine. So for number 20, I'm going Silent Night, Deadly Night. And so
Mm.
I love how it was controversial upon release. It's very much an 80s exploitation film that digs into trauma, repression, and the dark side of holiday iconography. It's Killer Santa after all. And this concept, in my opinion, became this cultural flashpoint and a horror milestone. And I love how it's messy and wild and unforgettable. Of course, as when we get to Silent Night, Deadly Night Part Two, apparently they didn't know it was unforgettable, considering the first third of that movie
Yeah.
is this one here.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty sleazy horror film. Like, if you obviously you can't take the Christmas out of it, but if
No.
you if you were to rank it among the '80s slashers, it's one of the more it's up there as one of the more mean spirited and kind of gnarly ones as well.
Yes. So, what do you have, Brad, for number 19?
19, this is one that I know is beloved by many, and I like it, but it's only 19, so I certainly don't love it as much as most. I have Love Actually from 2003.
Ooh. And
Um,
actually doesn't make my list.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So maybe we're both kind of maybe on the same page here. I mean, I do like these sort of big casts, different stories going on, these
Mhm.
Richard Curtis sort of movies, and
Yeah.
this one I don't think it's any better or worse than any of the other ones. I think just with it being a Christmas movie, people maybe
Mhm.
give it the extra bump. But obviously a stacked cast. Some of the stories are better than others. And I do enjoy it, just not one that I go to super often. Maybe partly because of the length. It is a
Mhm.
little on the lengthy side.
Like, it has its very ardent fan base. Like, there are people I know for whom Love Actually may as well be their number 1, 2, or 3 on the list you and I are
Hmm.
creating.
Hmm.
And I don't it I don't it's a Christmas movie doesn't need to fill me with, conventional joy. Certainly Silent Night, Deadly Night doesn't. And if it did, I guess I'd probably be a sociopath. But, I'll give a horror film, like, you don't like, you get to do, like, crazy fun things, with the holiday, and it doesn't have to be traditionally, quote, "joyous" or happy. But Love Actually is, like, it's a real downer. It's just, and
Hmm.
I don't look for a movie in the vein of Love Actually to be a downer, and I think that's why I haven't revisited it. I get the connection, but it's never quite grabbed me.
Yeah, I feel like maybe part of it, at least for me, is that there's so many different characters and storylines in this that
Mhm.
kind of like with any somewhat anthology films, some of them work better than others. And
Mhm.
a lot of people remember the Keira Knightley, Andrew Lincoln one because of the meme of him
Mhm.
holding the signs. And
Right.
Bill Nighy's great in here. But other ones, I mean, I don't even remember some of the other storylines in this movie. So, some of them are a little more forgettable than others, but still worth watching just for the epic cast alone, I'd
Oh,
say.
yeah. And I know I just got finished talking about the joy of the season. Well, I got another horror film for us.
Let's
So,
go.
and don't worry, listeners. My love of horror isn't waning. There's horror films that are ranked very high. So, but here's a few that I rewatch probably every 2 or 3 years. This was, I believe it was a Netflix original. If it wasn't original, at least debuted on Netflix in 2015, and that is A Christmas Horror Story.
Mm.
You just talked about anthologies. This too is an anthology that blends folklore, urban legends, Yuletide terror into a surprisingly cohesive and clever narrative. The Krampus fights and the changeling elements are standouts, but the film's real strength is its bleak twist ending structure. It's very much an underrated gem. I don't come across too many people that at least know it by name, and it really pushes Christmas storytelling into a bold new territory. Have you seen A Christmas Horror Story, Brad?
I have not. I've seen it pop up, like you said, on Netflix and some other places, but just never got around to watching it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it. So if you got room to add something this season, consider adding A Christmas Horror Story, and I'd be curious to hear what you think about it because I feel. I feel you would enjoy. I feel you would enjoy it. As to whether
Hmm.
or not you'd enjoy it as much as me, I don't know. But I do think that you would like the movie. So if you're looking for something, and you could just tell Lizzie, "Hey, do you want to watch A Christmas Story?" And you're like, "Oh, well, and then when she's like, "What is this?" She's like, "Oh, did I say Christmas Story? A Christmas Horror Story."
Forgot the one important word in there, but that's okay. That's all right.
Okay, number 18, Brad. What do you have for number 18?
Number 18, I have a pretty recent release, a movie that just came out last year. I have Terrifier 3.
Ooh, a very
Yeah.
bold choice.
Yeah, speaking of gnarly films, obviously this one is very bloody, very extreme. I actually personally prefer Terrifier 2 over this one, but
Okay.
I do really appreciate the swing of making the third entry a Christmas film and leaning into that
Mhm.
so heavily.
Yeah.
And obviously making the main villain Art the Clown dressed
Mhm.
as Santa Claus for the movie. I still really enjoy it, and I think there's some standout sequences. And again, even though the franchise is maybe a little rocky at times, I do think
Mhm.
just the character and the performance of Art the Clown and the comedy that comes from him, I think, is always great. So yeah, this is a fun one.
Yeah, did you happen to I don't think you did, but did you happen to go to Halloween Horror Nights this year for the Terrifier house?
I did not, but my buddy Bobby did, and he was a
Ah.
fan. He was a big fan.
Well, good. Well, sometimes the houses make appearances if they're in Orlando. Sometimes if the next couple of years are out at Universal Hollywood. So be on the lookout for that because that may give you a little extra excuse
Oh,
to go out
absolutely.
there and do the Terrifier house. Well, it's funny you mention Terrifier because there are many that, although I don't quite understand, there are many that find my entry for number 18 quite terrifying, even though it is not a horror movie. And that is Robert Zemeckis' The Polar Express, based
Mm.
on the best selling children's story, beautifully animated book I remember reading when I was a kid. I think it came out in the mid 90s when it was published. And of course, it's famously motion capture. A lot of people argue it encroaches upon that uncanny valley, but I can see Zemeckis through the whole thing. I enjoy its dreamlike, almost storybook, and perhaps it's because I did grow up reading the children's story. It's got the storybook quality to it. A world in which belief becomes this tangible journey on a magical train. And for me, the film captures the awe, uncertainty, and nostalgia of childhood Christmases. My Christmas tree has the Polar Express silver jingle bell on it, and I can still hear it. I just finished moving it to a different place on the tree because I had some lights go out. Don't you hate when that happens? And then I had
Oh
to like
yeah.
figure out how to get the lights on there, and then it's like, oh my gosh, it looks disheveled. But I can still hear the bell, and then just the more traditional Christmas themes of wonder and faith, really cement this and a for me, and why it makes my list. But I don't know. Are you one of them? Are you one of those that find the movie kind of terrifying? Because I have certainly met a few of those.
I mean, from the clips I've seen the film, but it's been a long time. So from the clips I've seen in 2025's lens, I do definitely
Hmm.
get that vibe of Uncanny Valley. But I would be curious to revisit this because I haven't seen it since I was probably a kid,
Hmm.
and I do wonder if because there's obviously some great scenes that I remember, but I wonder
Oh
if I'd
yeah.
be able to get past the dated effects. So I kind of just I abstained from even touching this one on my list.
Okay, fair enough. Well, listeners, you're listening to Real Talk on 90.7 WKGC. I'm your host, R.L. Terry, and today I am joined by returning guest host, Brad Buer of the Cinema Speak podcast. This hour, we are counting down our picks for the best Christmas movies, 20 to 11 this week and 10 to 1 next week. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue our Christmas movie countdown after this break. Welcome back to Real Talk on 90.7 WKGC. I'm your host, R.L. Terry, and today I am joined by returning guest host, Brad Buer of the Cinema Speak podcast. This hour, we are counting down our picks for the best Christmas movies, 20 to 11 this week and 10 to 1 next week. We've been through picks 20 to 18. Now, Brad, what do you have for us for number 17?
Number 17. Well, real quick, Ryan, we haven't had any crossover, have we?
Not yet. We have
Okay.
not.
I bet you this might be our first crossover pick. Maybe not. I don't know because
Okay.
a lot of people would put this at number one. I'm a little
Hmm.
lower. I have A Christmas Story.
It's not a crossover because I hate that movie.
Oh, all right. Well, there we go. Okay, we're kind of on the same page then. Um, I definitely don't hate it. I would not use that strong of a word, but I will say that I think it's a good movie, and I do like the aspect of its character narrating and looking back on their
Hmm.
childhood, and I do like that aspect of it and the nostalgia there. But I think really this is just a case of a movie that unfortunately just got overexposed. The
Mm.
24-hour Christmas Story marathons and
24,
uh,
try 48. Pretty sure
$48.
I think it was 48 there for a while on
Yeah.
TNT.
Yeah, just overexposed there, and just I mean, there are a lot of great iconic sequences, but they've
Oh,
been
yes.
quoted to death, and I don't
Hmm.
know, it's not one that I jump to as one of my favorites, and that might be a little unfair to the movie, but yeah, I think it's just a little bit of an example of me having I'm tapping out on A Christmas Story. I've experienced it too much.
Yeah, that's, I think, in part why I have maybe hate's just a little strong. It's kind of hard to hate a Christmas movie. So we'll go with strongly dislike. And I think that's part of it is the overexposure. I don't, there's probably a neat story behind the 24 and I think even 48 hours on the Turner stations back in the day. And had it not been like that, I probably would like it a bit more than I do. But I tell you this though, Bob Clark gives us two great Christmas movies. The other of which is probably where we will have a crossover at some point.
Mhm.
So Bob Clark gives us two iconic Christmas movies, and both in their own way quite innovative, particularly the one that I've yet to mention. And so I love his approach, and just between the two movies, just what a great talent. Very he is stratified because he's able to do both lighthearted and very dark. And so I love seeing his ability to work in both worlds.
Yeah, I thought about doing going against the grain and putting the sequel on here, A Christmas Story Christmas,
Ooh!
which I actually enjoyed more than most people. I thought about going really
Yes.
off board and putting that on here instead of the original.
So, well, for number 17, I am going more traditional, but I'm staying kind of in the same vein as Polar Express, even though this one does not encroach upon the uncanny valley. But it was a groundbreaking animated film when it came out in 2009, released by Disney, starring Jim Carrey. That is A Christmas Carol. Also directed by Robert Zemeckis. Got two Zemeckis films here back to back. This one also uses motion capture in its approach, not quite in the same way Polar Express did, but it gives this version of A Christmas Carol this visually striking, ghostly atmosphere that fully leans into the supernatural. And I'd argue that it's one of the most faithful adaptations of Dickens' original story, because the original story, which I'm rereading with my mom, we do that each year. We start after Thanksgiving and we finish Christmas Day, that it has some very dark elements in it. After all, Scrooge turned around. It'd have to take something pretty dark and traumatizing to do that. Jim Carrey's his multi-role performance really adds emotional depth and range. It's faithful, but it's still fantastical. Great soundtrack. Alan Silvestri is composed the score, and it really does honor Dickens through immersive imagery. Have you seen the 2009 Zemeckis Christmas Carol, Brad?
I have, but I haven't seen it since I saw it originally in the theater.
Okay.
So it's one that I've wanted to revisit over the years, but just haven't gotten around to. But I do, from what I remember, obviously it is animated, but in terms of just like being a faithful adaptation of the original,
Hmm.
it's definitely one of the best to do it in that regard.
Hmm.
If you're wanting to recommend somebody just to experience the story of A Christmas Carol, this is a good
Hmm.
one to point to.
Good. What I like about these lists, regardless if it's Christmas or some of the other ones I've done, is I'm often reminded of movies. Just like, oh, I know that movie. I've not seen it in 20 years, but I need to go back and watch that. So I love that because you already given me titles that I think I need to go back and rewatch that, or watch it for the first time in a long time.
Mhm.
I really like that. But we're down to number 16, almost halfway through our list. So, Brad, what do you have for number 16?
Number 16, another more recent release. I think this was from 2022. I have Violent Night. Uh,
Oh, very fun.
yep, starring David Harbour as
Yeah.
Santa Claus in an action movie directed by Tommy Wirkola. And this was a fun one. I thought the action was well directed, and I just thought the concept of Santa sort of having to fight back against a group of criminals who are
Oh,
taking this
yeah.
family hostage. Really kind of cool idea. And I think they did a lot of really interesting things in terms of if you were to make Santa an action hero, what could you do with the
Hmm.
Santa, supernatural powers and the Santa's sack. And I think they have a
Hmm.
lot of fun with that. But yeah, just kind of a very fun, watchable action movie that happens to star Santa Claus as the main character.
Yeah, the Violent Night doesn't make my list. However, if I made a list of honorable mentions, it would certainly be on there because
Hmm.
I had so much fun with it. It was what 3 years ago now, about three,
I
two or
think
three
so.
years ago
Yeah.
that it came out, and it was surprising. I really didn't expect it to be that good. It was just like, oh, Christmas action horror movie. I'm down, so I'm gonna go watch it anyway, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's got some thoughtful moments. It's very funny. Some excellent action. You've also got like kind of this heist element, and just watching Santa Claus kick butt is really like makes the movie. It's just seeing him in a totally different form is just it challenges what we think about Santa. But if you think about it, you have to be tough to be Santa Claus. I mean, you're lugging around that sack. You certainly got probably like highwaymen along the way, and you got to fend them
Hmm.
off
Hmm.
to keep all the toys. And it was, and I like the fact that some of the family members were so repulsive that you are just like, thank you, Santa, or thank you, like when they would finally be taken out. It was fun.
Yeah.
So for action movie fans, if you haven't seen Violent Night, you're hearing it from both of us. You may want to go and check that out. And I think I think it was a Universal picture. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on Peacock, so it's should be fairly easy. Should be fairly easy to find. For my 16, I'm gonna kind of go the complete antithesis of Violent Night, and I'm going back to one of the Rankin Bass Christmas specials, and that is the Little Drummer Boy.
Okay.
Definitely more solemn in the Rankin Bass television special library. What I like about Drummer Boy is that I feel I can empathize with his character because he feels very human with
Mhm.
the loss of his family and just feeling like an outcast. And I like how within this Christmas wrapping, the film explores and, inspired by the song, inspired by the hymn, it explores themes of loss, humility, even because he certainly has a lot of pride. It's expressed, maybe in an atypical way, but certainly a lot of pride there, but also the healing power of generosity, and I love that. I think that's one of the things that I love best about the Little Drummer Boy and the Wise Men is just a reminder of the power of generosity and how much joy we are filled when we give a gift to somebody else, even if it is playing a song on your drum because you don't have anything else. And so the music has this and his character very earnest, and it's very distinct from the studio's lighter offerings, some of which we may touch on over the next couple of weeks. It's very quiet but meaningful, but for me, very much a staple of the more traditional Christmas programming. Have you seen in recent years or remember maybe as a kid watching The Little Drummer Boy?
I don't think I've ever seen The Little Drummer Boy. I don't remember watching this one growing up. And I will say, and this was a personal choice with my list, no shade or judgment or whatever, but I did not include any sort of Rankin Bass or any sort of
Okay.
TV specials. I kind of kept it to feature length films.
Okay.
I considered it, but it's tough because where do you draw the line at
Right.
what is, eligible for the list versus just a TV special? I think there's some gray area there, but
So
just for full disclosure.
I do have one, I believe, one other from their library, but we won't get into that until next week. But I
Okay.
also kind of struggled with it, but there are some that I do consider short films. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I don't consider every television special film quality, but particularly in the 1960s, we had they might have only been a half an hour, but there was this short film quality about them. And so
Yep.
so certainly not every Treehouse of Horror doesn't make my list, and so
Hmm.
it's not that. But it's one other that's going to be on there. Well, no, I guess no. There's two others, but one of them is feature length. It just happened to be a television special.
Okay. I'll
Uh,
say that there probably would only be one of these or one uh short that I probably would put on the list, and
mhm.
we'll see if it comes up on yours and I'll say when.
Mm, okay.
But other than the one, I probably wouldn't have any other ones on
Okay.
there.
Okay. Well, we'll see when we get to it, which actually is going to be coming up on my list here pretty quickly. So,
Okay.
Brad, what do you have? What do you have for number 15?
My number 15 is Home Alone 2. Home Alone
Ooh,
2.
love Home Alone 2. I'm surprised it's ranked that low on the list. No shade, no shame.
Mhm.
Because I got to tell you, I like it more than number 1. But
Really
yes, I
interesting.
do. But why does Home Alone 2 take the number 15 spot of all the Christmas movies out there, narrowing it down to 20? It takes the number 15. Why does it hold that position?
Well, I do really enjoy it. I don't think it's as good as 1, and
Mhm.
we'll cover that at a later date,
Ooh,
but,
okay.
and one problem with it is that I have a thing where every Christmas Eve I watch Home Alone. It's
Okay.
Christmas Eve tradition. And
Nice.
because I watch Home Alone 1 on Christmas Eve, I don't watch Home Alone 2 all that often because that kind of gets us
Mm.
close to the end of the Christmas season, unless I were
Mm.
to watch them out of order, which I could
Mhm.
do. But I do really like Home Alone 2. Obviously, it is very much just a reworking of the
Mhm.
original, but just a
Yeah.
new setting and sort of thing. But I don't mind that. I can see where maybe at the time, maybe people would have been disappointed with it, but I think it's a lot of fun. I do think that the New York setting opens up some really cool um, set pieces and sequences
Mhm.
that separate it from the original. I really like Tim Curry in this. He's
Oh,
great.
yes, yes.
And yeah, it's a really fun film. Just in my opinion, not quite as strong as the original. We disagree on that one.
Well, what about Darlene Love? Her All Alone on Christmas. That is on my mixtape playlist. I love that more than her probably her more well known one. Just it's just Christmas, right? Christmas snows falling
Yeah.
down.
Yep.
And so, but I between the two of them, I love All Alone on Christmas much more. I hear the dun 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 dun. The cold wind is. It just gets me. It just gets me in the Christmas spirit. And that's right when he's going through New York in the traditional New York yellow cab. I don't
Hmm.
even know if the yellow cabs are still around. Certainly, the last time I was in New York, I couldn't find one of those traditional yellow cabs. Now, you mentioned that there was maybe one Rankin Bass that could have possibly made your list, and I'm going to venture to guess it's one of two, both of which are on my list between this week and next week. But I'm going with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1964. Again, Rankin Bass. This created very much an enduring myth about belonging, resilience, and celebrating one's differences. And it is okay that you want to be a dentist when everybody else tells you that you need to make toys alone. So I love the idea of being a misfit. In fact, there's a whole song in there about misfits. And of course, as Montgomery Ward launched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer as an advertising campaign. We get the song from there. We get the movie from there. So it's funny how department stores wielded that much power back in the day that you could have, entire franchise just like spawned from it. I love the stop motion animation, and that's a big reason why it makes my list because that isn't something that you would typically find in TV except for Gumby. So
Hmm.
we have the beautiful stop motion animated style and memorable music and characters, all star cast. We got Burl Ives, just to name one. So great cast there. And this movie really is woven into the American Christmas movie DNA, and very few specials have shaped Christmas iconography as deeply or as lastingly as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, no, this is a classic. I do love the animation, like you said. Story is really great as well. I will say that I maybe wasn't as clear when I said that I didn't mean a Rankin Bass would potentially make my list. I
Ah,
just mean
okay.
a Christmas short of
Oh,
some
okay.
degree. But if I were to rank the Rankin Basses, this would be probably my number one. Although I
Mhm,
will say that this was the only one that was in regular rotation for me growing
mhm.
up.
And I think that was the same way for a lot of families, and got the Blu-ray a few years ago, looks beautiful, and so many of these that we talk about are regular rotations that we start as kids, and then we continue the, tradition into the future, and I guess if, you and Lizzie ever have kids, you're gonna have maybe some of these movies that are part of their rotation, and then they get to grow up with
Yeah,
them.
Terrifier 3.
Start them while they're young. So number 14. So we'll hit our number 14s and go into our next break. So what do you have, Brad, for your number 14?
My number 14, it's a movie that I just rewatched last year and had a lot of fun with. And I think this is one
Mm.
that maybe people don't rate super highly, but I have Jingle All the Way from 1996 with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I watched this as a kid and I remember liking it, but it was one of those ones where you kind of think you're gonna revisit it and hate it. And, it's definitely very over the top and cheesy at times, but I just like the whole sort of chasing down the toy element of Arnold
Mhm.
running around the city, and, Sinbad is the guy he's
Mhm.
trying to get the toy from, and they're
Yep.
competing against one another. And I don't know, it was just I was very pleasantly surprised on my rewatch here. I actually thought there were some very funny moments, and, kind of a obviously it is just trying to be a heartwarming Christmas film, but also, sort of criticizing the consumerism around
Yeah,
Christmas
very
in a
much
very
so.
direct way. So yeah, I really enjoyed this on my last rewatch of it.
Yeah, I rewatched it. Actually, I think it was the same weekend with my friend in Savannah last year. It was the holiday, and then I believe we watched this immediately after, and hadn't seen it in a long time. And I was reminded of how much fun it was. And Schwarzenegger has a range. We
Mhm.
often just think of him as the Terminator or the Governator, take your pick. And so we think of him in these roles, or Get to the Chopper from Predator, but he really has quite a range, and he can be a lot of fun in roles like this. It plays against his type, and I think that's the thing I like most about it is it really plays against the typical typecasting that would pigeonhole him into these roles. Do you feel it demonstrates his range as an actor, Brad?
Yeah, I would say it does because I think he is sneakily a really great comedic performer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one where he is operating in a 100% comedy zone. Like a lot of his movies are action movies and there are comedic elements to them, but this one is, a family comedy first and
Mm-hmm.
foremost. And I think him and Sinbad are very funny together. I like their chemistry. And yeah, I think Arnold is great in this.
Yeah, really good chemistry between the two of them. Well, I'm probably gonna get some hate for my number 14, and I might even get some hate from you.
Mm.
I'm gonna have listeners who like, "What is going on? Are you nuts?" So my number 14 is Home Alone.
Mm.
So I see that. Then so I, without you saying anything, I know precisely what you are thinking, what you're thinking right now. But and I know we're going to talk about this later, so I'll be real quick. But I love the heartfelt family story wrapped in slapstick genius. Perfect blend of comedy and warmth, and it just makes you feel all warm and cuddly on the inside. Macaulay Culkin, incredible amount of charm. Love Chris Columbus' direction in the movie. Makes it eternally rewatchable. Very much a Christmas staple all through the season for millions of people out there because it captures the season's spirit with sincerity and mischief. So I love how it does. I love how it does both those things. But I'm pretty sure that's higher on your list, so we can dive a little more deeply into it later on this week or next week. But for now, you are listening to Real Talk on 90.7 WKGC. I'm your host RL Terry, and today I am joined by returning guest host Brad Buer of the Cinema Speak podcast. This hour, we are counting down our picks for the best Christmas movies, 20 to 11 this week and 10 to 1 next week. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue our Christmas movie. Excuse me. We'll continue our Christmas movie countdown after this break. Welcome back to Real Talk on 90.7 WKGC. I'm your host, RL Terry, and today I am joined by returning guest host Brad Buer of the Cinema Speak podcast. This hour, we are counting down our picks for the best Christmas movies, 20 to 11 this week and 10 to 1 next week. We've been through picks 20 to 14. Now we head into this week's top three, 13, 12, and 11. So we're going to head into those. So, Brad, what do you have for your number 13?
Well, this'll be maybe an interesting discussion because this pick, if I were to rank my top 20 just in terms of how good I think each movie is,
Mm-hmm.
this would probably be in the top 5. But
Hmm.
I'm kind of ranking it more specifically as like Christmas movie, how good it is as a Christmas movie. Like, do I only
Mm.
watch it around that time of year? Do I think of it when
Okay.
I'm thinking, what am I going to watch for a Christmas movie tonight?
Mhm.
And it's one that has been talked about in that regard for a while. And my number 13 pick is Die Hard,
That low? Oh my
1988.
gosh! I out. You out of the studio. You can no longer participate in the rest of the show.
Well,
Um,
hear me out here,
okay.
because I do love it. I think it's a great movie, and like I said, if I were to just rank these in terms of how much I think the movie is, how great the
Uh-huh.
movie is in terms of quality, it'd be a lot higher.
Mhm.
One of the things with Christmas movies, because
Mm,
we haven't touched on this too much, but like what makes a Christmas movie? What is a
right.
Christmas movie? And I do think Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but
Agreed.
I will say, with most other films on this list, maybe other than a couple,
Mhm.
most of the films on this list, I would literally only ever watch them around Christmas time. Die Hard,
Mm.
I could watch Die Hard any time of year. So, I think that hurts in
Ah.
terms of being a Christmas movie a little bit, like, it's almost, like,
Okay.
too good that it transcends the Christmas movie label.
Right.
Um, but I do think it is a Christmas movie that I mean, it obviously takes place on Christmas Eve. There's lots of Christmas
Mhm.
imagery, and the soundtrack has a lot of Christmas songs. But in terms of ranking it as a Christmas movie,
Okay.
it's not quite as high for me. But I do think it's a great action movie. I do love it. So I kind of had a weird time placing it.
Redefined the action genre, didn't it? Specifically, our action hero. Here he is, the everyday man. He's certainly very fit, but not as buff as, say, Jean Claude Van Damme or Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time, Sylvester Stallone. So he very much has more of that the everyman look and feel,
Hmm.
and I like how and he's much more vulnerable than some of those other guys in their movies. And I love how he redefined what an action star or an action hero could be. Die Hard more broadly, what an action movie could be. And it's good year round. And it is one that if somebody was watching Die Hard on 4th of July, that I would watch Die Hard and I would have just as much fun with it. But spoiler alert, makes my list. But I think we'll have to wait until next week
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
to talk about it. I'm just so glad it makes your list, and that we are in agreement. Maybe not where it falls on our list today, but we are in agreement that it is definitively, in fact, listeners, you heard it right, a Christmas movie.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
number 13 for me is a non-traditional Christmas movie. And some might even argue that it isn't way more often than Die Hard. And no, it's not Psycho, even though yes, the events of Psycho do take place at Christmas time, even though we don't really ever stop to think about that. But this is Edward Scissorhands, Tim Burton's
Mm.
Edward Scissorhands. I love how he uses Christmas as a symbol of hope and fragility and the longing for acceptance. The film is just beautifully visually poetic. Love Elfman's score and the outsider narrative. And as I look over my list here, I kind of see that that's a recurring motif, a recurring theme in some of these is that the idea of the outcast. It gives it this bittersweet magic that a few films really achieve. I mean, you can just see it now. The backyard, the snow falling, it's just absolutely beautiful, and the snow itself at some point becomes a character, and Edward Scissorhands is one that I watch most years, not every year, but very when I do watch it, it is typically at Christmas time. Have you ever thought of Edward Scissorhands as a Christmas movie, Brad?
I haven't really considered it like that, but when I was doing research on this, I did see a lot of lists putting this on, best Christmas movies of all time list.
Ah,
Um, it's tough because obviously you do have the sequence with the snow,
mhm.
but also a lot of it. Like, does the movie take place in California or?
I can tell you where the real neighborhood is. The real neighborhood is just north of Tampa.
Okay, yep.
So that's and the neighborhood no longer looks like it does in the movie because they used a lot of temporary facades for the colors and stuff. And there's no
Hmm.
castle in the cul-de-sac, so that's not there. But I don't remember where it takes place within the movie. I don't know if it is Florida or California, but I've been to the Edward Scissorhands house. The owners have turned it into kind of a museum, but I don't know where it takes place within the story.
I just when thinking about this movie, I think of like the suburban setting and like bright sunshine and the
Hmm.
hedge trimming. So even if if it does take place in Florida, that still would make sense with
Hmm.
what time of year it would be. But it almost doesn't quite give me the wintry, snowy vibe, except for that one scene. So and
Yeah.
it's not one that I've revisited all that recently.
Hmm.
So it's not one that immediately jumps to mind to me as a Christmas
Okay.
movie.
Well, maybe give it a shot and think, does it fit the Brad Christmas mold? And then you can kind of do a little reevaluation. It never hurts to go back and rewatch Edward Scissorhands.
Yep.
So
Yep.
number 12, which is this week's number 2. So we're down to our last couple of titles, listeners. So Brad, I am eagerly awaiting what takes the number 12 slot on your list.
My number 12 is exactly how I talked about with the number 13, Die Hard. If I were to
Mhm.
rank these based on their quality, this would be much closer to the top. But it doesn't quite scream Christmas quite as much as the rest of my list.
Mhm.
And this is another one that you probably will not be happy with its placement
Oh
of.
no.
But I still love the movie. My number 12
Mhm.
is Batman
Oh,
Returns.
it makes my list, but it's way higher.
Yeah,
But
I
it
figured
makes
as
your
much.
list, so I'm just happy. I'm just happy it makes your list. And so regardless of where it is, and if I'm not careful, I'm gonna run out our showtime today talking about it. So I'm gonna temper my reaction and save some of my thoughts for maybe next week.
Hmm.
But Brad, why does Batman Returns, of all the Christmas movies out there, and on our list today, we've narrowed it down to 20, and this is number 12, almost halfway down that list of 20. Why does Batman Returns make your list today?
I mean, I think it is probably my favorite Batman movie. I love the
Oh, mine too. Mine too. We're in
yeah,
agreement. We're in agreement
yep.
there.
I love the visuals of it. I love how
Mm.
dark it is, how
Oh,
weird it
yeah.
is. And in terms of it being a Christmas movie, obviously there's a lot of visual representation of
Oh,
Christmas.
yes.
Maybe not quite as much plot specific stuff regarding the holiday, like maybe even
Mm-hmm.
less than Die Hard, because at least Die
Mm-hmm.
Hard, the whole thing with Hans Gruber, he was taking over the building on Christmas Eve because he knew it'd be
Mm-hmm.
empty, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera, et cetera. But this one, it's really more just a vibe and a visual sort of Christmas movie. But I do love it. I love Danny DeVito. I love Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's a great film. Another Tim Burton back to back Timmy
Yes.
B's.
There, and Brad, mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
So, in the very end of the movie, we have peace on earth, goodwill towards men, dot dot dot, and women. I love that.
Hmm.
So it's a
Hmm.
great way if you, great way to end the movie, and it is. I mean, if you remove Christmas from Batman Returns, it really ceases being Batman Returns.
Yeah.
It and you're right. Most of the plot itself isn't directly tied to Christmas, but a lot of the dialogue is, a lot of the situations are, and just the almost it's shot in color, but it's almost this noir esque film because of just how you got a lot of German expressionism and the gothic styling, and so when we get the reds in there, they really pop
Hmm.
against the white and black backgrounds, and we have the definitive Catwoman and Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer, in my opinion, definitive Catwoman, and Danny DeVito, definitive Penguin. Are they your definitive expressions of those characters, Brad?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't think anybody's really topped them yet.
Yeah, and they're the stars. If you
Hmm.
add up the amount of screen time that we have Michael Keaton, whether he's Bruce Wayne or Batman, you add up the time he's on screen. It's like I used to know the statistic, but it's like the amount of time that DeVito and Pfeiffer have. It's like 2 or 3 times the amount of screen time that he does, and so I like how a lot of what we encounter in there is sort of an inverse of what you would typically expect. I've often described Batman 89 as a Batman movie directed by Tim Burton, whereas Batman Returns is a Tim Burton movie. It just happens to have Batman characters in it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
So, and here we are at here we are down to my number 12, and my number 12 is one that you've already mentioned, so we can talk about it a little bit more if you like. It is Home Alone 2. I mentioned that I like it a bit more than the first Home Alone, and I won't repeat what we've already said about it, but I feel that it's a bigger, flashier echo of the original.
Mhm.
Again, I agree with you. The setting very much feeds into that, the New York energy, and of course John Williams' sweeping score for both Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2, and I mentioned Darlene Love's anthem earlier. I like, and here we continue that balance of slapstick adventures with genuine emotional beats, particularly with the toy store and the turtle doves and Bird Lady. I love Bird Lady. Love the relationship between the two of them, and talk about a sweet apartment that she's got there above the concert hall.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so it's Christmas magic fantasy, just upscaled. It's blown incredibly large, and I feel it's irresistibly fun. And I
And the
feel
Talk Boy, I love the Talk
Oh,
Boy.
yes, the Talk Boy. I never had a Talk Boy. Did you have a Talk Boy when you were a kid, Brad?
Nope, never did, never did.
Oh, I always wanted one too. I had a friend with a Talk Boy, and I was so jealous. It's that jealousy when you walk into your friend's room and they have the Castle Grayskull set, and so
Mhm, mhm.
that same level of jealousy there. Well, here we are, Brad. We're down to number 11, which is going to top our list today. We're picking up with number 10 next week, listeners. So here we are. Drum roll, Brad. What do you have for number 11?
My number 11 pick, and without a doubt, the best title on the list, the literal title of the film would be number 1, but the actual movie is number 11. I have The Santa Claus.
Oh, great pick! Great pick. Another timeless classic that is surely on millions of rotations this month.
Mhm. Yep, this was one I definitely, grew up with, watched a lot, and, I just really like how they build up the mythology of Santa Claus and explain all the things that, how does he get into the homes without chimneys, and they
Yeah.
explain that, and, I really think the world building of Santa Claus and the North Pole works really well, and, a great movie structurally too, like the idea of starting on one Christmas night and then going
Mhm.
the whole year and ending on the next Christmas a year later.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that really works, and, yeah, I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's got some quotable moments or visual references that are instantly recognizable, and it really feels like an extension of his character from Home Improvement. And
Mhm.
and I can say the same thing, a little with Woody in Toy Story, but I think even more than his role in Toy Story. I'm sorry, about Buzz Lightyear. I think even more than his role in Toy Story, this feels like an extension of his character, and
Yeah.
I really like it, and he plays that role very well. And yes, the title is fantastic. I It's one of the best titles ever. Santa Claus doesn't do much for radio, but when you see it, when you see it written out, it's so very clever.
Yeah,
Um,
when I realized it was a pun, that blew my mind.
well, for my number 11, is another. I guess I had more of these than I thought. Is another made-for-TV movie. Actually, by the Saban Company, who most associate with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But it's when he was making a lot of TV shows in the mid 90s. And this comes from 1997 on the Family Channel, and it's the Christmas List starring Mimi Rogers. And so, listeners, if that alone should be enough to get you to watch the movie. So, Mimi Rogers in this movie. This is one that my mom and I we rewatch every single Christmas, and we have since 1997. Bought her some DVD, bought her a DVD off of eBay that I know somebody was just like burning at home and selling it for $10 many years ago. Well, now you can find it. It's just on YouTube, but it's the Christmas List. Again, made for TV movie. It's heartfelt and relatable, and it's built on the idea of wish fulfillment and embracing authenticity. Mimi Rogers plays a character that just feels that she's in a rut. Things aren't going well with her boyfriend. She works behind the perfume counter at a department store when that was still a thing, and her friend challenges her. It's just like write down your wishes, just have fun with it, and goes into Santa's mailbox. And sure enough, everything begins to come true. But there's a little catch, as it often is when you're like oftentimes with like genie type stories. And so there's a little catch with that. She really makes the movie a great cast all the way around, very well written as well. Her character gives a story this emotional weight, and it's way beyond Hallmark trappings, and so it transcends those. It's comfort viewing at its purest, simple. It's simple, sincere, and it's quietly resonant. So this might be one I think, Brad, that Lizzie may enjoy. So if she's up to watching a new Christmas movie, check it out. It's the Christmas List, 1997. My mom and I actually watched it on YouTube last year because you got the commercials from '97, and they were really fun.
Nice.
They were really fun to go back and rewatch. But Mimi Rogers does a really great job in this. Listeners, you may know her from the first Austin Powers movie. So we have really good casters who may want to check that out. But there you have it, listeners. Mine and Brad's first half of the Real Talk Top 20 Christmas Movies list. We've counted down 20 to 11. Next week, we will have our top 10, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much, Brad, for joining us on Real Talk today. In case listeners want to listen to the Cinema Speak podcast for more of your reviews and your always entertaining guests, where can they find you?
Yeah, it's the Cinema Speak podcast, so you can just find us on any of your podcast listening platforms. We're on Twitter at the Cinema Speak, Instagram Cinema Speak podcast, and on YouTube as well as Cinema Speak. So check us out anywhere there.
Excellent. Again, Brad and I will be back next week to conclude our top 20 Christmas movie countdown by ranking our top 10. Again, don't want to miss. After next week, Real Talk will be on Christmas break until the 5th of January. So in place of the show, you'll be treated to some Christmas music to accompany your holiday adventures. And if you missed any of today's episode or to listen to past episodes of Real Talk or other shows on WKGC, we are on a podcatcher near you. Just search for WKGC Public Media on your podcast service of choice. Stay tuned for Jazz in a Minor Key with Walter Hale coming up next, followed by the Afternoon Spin with DJ Maggie starting at 3 o'clock. Thanks to all of you for listening. I hope you'll tune in again next week, same time, same place for more Real Talk on 90.7 WKGC. Support for WKGC Public Media comes from listeners like you, people who believe in the power of local radio to inform, inspire, and connect the Emerald Coast community. Your gift helps keep educational and entertaining programs on the air while creating hands-on learning opportunities for students. Become a listener supporter today and give securely at WKGC.org. WKGC, education, entertainment, and everything in between.